pass?
Well, it's quite clear that the issue of energy on the African continent is the one big issue that can change the economies of Africa. And if we're looking to have either industrialization, meaningful economic growth without energy, that is a pipe dream. We can only, as Africans, get real meaningful growth if we're going to power Africa, roll out energy infrastructure throughout the African continent, and increase the megawatts output that we currently have. We need to do that so that we can empower our people, our economies, and we need to do that in a very smart way.
That, I'm proudly African, and I'm very optimistic about Africa's economic growth and future and prospects. But none of that can actually happen unless we deal with the structural problem of lack of power in Africa. If you don't have power, you can't light up homes, kids can't go to school, you can't drive industries, you can't be competitive in almost anything. So for me, the most important thing is really to light up and power Africa. Light, fine, but you need baseload power to drive industries all across Africa. And that's why, and we decided as a bank that we're going to focus in $12 billion on the power sector over the next 5 years. But as the Deputy President was saying, it's not just the government that's going to do that, it's that we've got to leverage the private sector. So we expect to leverage anything between $45 and $50 billion from the private sector and likes of Aliko and others that are investing massively in this sector. The agenda, if I would say 4 things. First is that we've got to get the private sector into the energy space big time. Because if you look at how much is being spent on the energy today in Africa, it's probably it's grown from about $22 billion in 2014 to $35 billion by 2015. Private sector is only $2.5 billion in 2014, but $7 billion, it's about 3.5 times by 2015. It's got to go a lot more. So that's the
financing is not an issue, really. If I have a credible project today, I go to the likes of ADB, IFC and co. The financing is there. Ourselves, Dangote and Blackstone, we have already promised and put up an agreement which we say will provide $5 billion to generate power. But we need also the governments to really move very fast. Power issue in Africa is a very serious issue. You have heard what President
Nigeria, the African Development Bank is going to provide about $200 million to support the Nigerian bulk electric trader. Because the problem...
Another important thing that we're now latching onto is to have regional integration. We almost finalizing an agreement with the DRC to have power generated from the Great Inga, which will bring hydro energy, but not only for South Africa, but for a number of neighboring countries. And if we have not already gone to the bank, we will be knocking on the doors of the bank.
Yes,
we will be going to the bank for more money so that we can power the Great Inga.
Yeah, the bank is already there.
Oh, wonderful.
I just want to follow up on that because the Deputy President made a very important point that we've got to really develop regional power markets. Right? And to do that, you have to focus also on regional power projects. And I can't think of any regional power project more important than the Great Inga. You've got 44,000 megawatts sitting out there. And that's enough to light up and power most of Africa, actually. Mm-hmm. And so what the African Development Bank has done is that we have provided funds to the government for project preparation facility for the Grand Inga.
Yeah. President Adesina, still on the same topic.
Yeah.
The World Bank has pulled out of that project. Yeah. Is that a concern?
Well, you see, my job as president of African Development Bank is to take a good bet on Africa at all times. From the African Development Bank, we made a decision to work with several countries where the similar conditions can be to take that IPP procurement platform for renewable energy to support things all across Africa.